Hey YouTube. Today's video is the second in a series on drop chords. What I just played was a little bit of West Montgomery using almost entirely drop chords, so it gives you an idea of the possibility and why it's so important to learn these chords. But today is all about minor seventh chords, and we're going to do everything in the context of A minor. And I want to start off by just letting you guys know one quick tip about the way that I'm going to approach teaching this from here on out. So I'm going to keep referencing string sets when we're talking about seventh chords, and I'm going to reference string sets 1, 2, and 3. What I'm talking about is basically just some groupings of strings. So string set 1 is the high E, the B, the G, and the D string. String set 2 is the B through the A string. String set 3 is the G through the low E string. So if you didn't catch the first video and you're like, what are drop chords? Go ahead and click up here. Go watch that video. It'll explain everything you need to know about what a drop chord is. And then come back here and I'll show you these minor seventh chords. But if you're still with me, let's go ahead and get started on it. Once again, we're going to do everything today in the context of A minor. So we're going to start on the third string set, so the lowest. And we're going to start in third inversion with this A minor 7 right here. So you can go ahead and take your middle finger and put it on the third fret of the low E string, your ring finger on the third fret of the A string, and then I find it easiest to bar my index finger across the second fret of the D and G strings. And there you have it. That's the first one. Now the next one we're going to come up to here is a little bit more of a familiar shape for probably most of you out there. So go ahead and just bar your index finger across the whole fretboard, and then take your ring finger and put it on the 7th fret of the A string. So, but you're only going to strum these bottom 4 strings. That's the sound you get. So it's going to go A, E, G, C. We're going to move up here, the C now. So put your middle finger on the 8th fret of the low E string, your pinky on the 10th fret of the A string, your pointer finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and your ring finger on the 9th fret of the G string. There you have that one. That's really pretty. And just as a little bit of a quick aside, you may notice that this voicing is incredibly similar to some of the major 7 shapes that we saw in the previous lesson. We're coming up here to the 12th fret. We're going to go ahead and play this in second inversion now. So go ahead and take your middle finger and put it on the 12th fret of the low E string, You're going to play an E note there. You're going to play an A at the 12th fret of the A string. You're going to play a C with your pointer finger on the 10th fret of the D string. And you're going to bring your pinky in here and get the 12th fret of the G string and play a G. So to recap, here's our third inversion chord, our root position, first inversion, and our second inversion. All right, now we're gonna come up to the second string set. This first one I'm sure will be pretty familiar to you guys. You can go ahead and leave that bottom string open, the bottom A string open. You're gonna put your pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, leave the G string open, and you're gonna put your pointer finger on the first fret of the B string. There you have that one. Now this next one, our first inversion, is a little bit of a stretch for me, but I think the best way to get there is go ahead and play a C major 7 here. All right. Once your hands are in that position, I want you to swap your middle finger for your pointer finger on that A string on the C, and bring your pointer finger to A on the G string, which is the 2nd fret of the G string. There you have, so in total from the bottom, you're going to have your middle finger on C, which is the 3rd fret of the A string. Your ring finger is going to play G, 5th fret of the D string. Your pointer finger is going to play an A, 2nd fret of the G string. And your pinky is going to catch the E at the 5th fret of the B string. Okay, now we're going to come up here to second inversion. You're going to put your middle finger on the E of the A string, so the 7th fret of the A string. Your ring finger is going to play the 7th fret of the D string, or A. Your pointer finger is going to play the 5th fret of the G string, or C. And your pinky is going to play the 8th fret of the B string, or G. All right. Now we're going to come up here and play this in third inversion. You're going to go ahead and put your middle finger on the 10th fret of the low A string. Your ring finger on the 10th fret of the D string. You're going to put your pinky on the 10th fret of the B string. And then you're going to tuck your pointer finger in there at the 9th fret of the G string. And from the bottom up, you have G, C, E, A. Now, just for good measure, I'm going to show you the same voicing that we started this sequence off with, up the octave, so you can see how it would look if we weren't playing an A. Once again, I'm sure this one is familiar to a lot of you guys, as this is one of the kind of standard bar chords. Bar across the 12th fret. Okay, for good measure here, I'm going to repeat the first chord that we played up an octave here, just to show you what it would look like if we weren't playing an A and we couldn't rely on open strings. So, come up here and bar at the 12th fret from the A string all the way up to the high E string. Put your middle finger on the 13th fret of the B string. That's that C note there. Then grab the E or the 14th fret of the D string with your ring finger. So from the bottom you have A, 12th fret of the A string, E, 14th fret of the D string, G, 12th fret of the G string, C, 13th fret of the B string. So from the bottom up we have come up here to the first string set, which is by far the string set that I play these chords on the most. So we're going to start down here in second inversion this time. We're going to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, your first finger on the 1st fret of the B string, and your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E string. So from the bottom you have E, A, C, G. Alright, next up, the easiest one of all. You're just going to take your pointer finger and bar across the 5th fret of the D, G, B, and high E strings. So from the bottom you have G, C, E, A. Come up here, put your pointer finger on the 7th fret of the D string. Put your ring finger on the 8th fret of the high E string. Your middle finger on the 8th fret of the B string. And then bring your pinky in on the 9th fret of the G string. So from the bottom here you have A, E, G, C. We're going to come up here last but certainly not least to our first inversion chord on the first set. So go ahead and bar across the 10th fret from the high E string down to the D string. And then bring your middle finger and put it on the 12th fret of the G string. then your pinky and put it on the 12th fret of the high E string. So from the bottom you have C, G, A, E. So altogether that is and there you have it. That is all of the inversions on all the string sets for a minor 7th drop 2 chord. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to click subscribe. Drop a comment below with anything else you'd like to learn, any questions you have. You can reach me at mitchpughmusic@gmail.com for the free PDF that goes along with this lesson, or to schedule a private lesson, or just ask any other question or make a lesson request. So once again, thanks so much. Click subscribe. Take care.